Okay, Julio Casear Chavez Jr. versus Sergio Martinez for supremacy in the middleweight championship of the world. Okay, it's a lot of people call it a tough fight to predict. I would agree to some extent. First, looking at Julio Casear Chavez Jr., the first thing you have to say without a shadow of a doubt is Chavez Jr. is known because of his father's great career, Julio Casear Chavez. Devastating body puncher, great all-round fighter, a legend, a real legend in the game. The word legend is used pretty loosely in today's terms, but Julio Casear Chavez, you can YouTube him, great fighter. So when his son started boxing, I was like, okay, let's have a look at him. And this skinny kid was boxing, and you could see he'd have to be protected. He didn't look very good in his fights. He looked weak. And I was thinking, oh yeah, just give him credit because he's Julio Casear Chavez's son. And they were saying, yeah, he'll become a world champion one day. But I lost interest in him. I didn't think much of him. And then look back at him again, middleweight champion of the world. And in his last bout, bullying Andy Lee all around the ring and winning the fight pretty convincingly. Now, if you talked about this fight a year ago, people would tell you, Martinez will blow Julio Casear Chavez Jr. away. He's not good enough. He's not technically good enough. He's not brainy enough. He comes forward in straight lines. Blah 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 blah. Well, they probably still have got a point. Chavez is bigger. He's stronger, but is that enough to beat Sergio Martinez, who everyone talks about being the number 2 or number 3 pound for pound fighter in the world? Martinez has had good wins against Paul Williams, the rematch where he cleaned and knocked Williams out, the fight against Kelly Pavlik. Recently he's had 2 good wins against British opposition. In first, the unbeaten Darren Barker. It was a good competitive fight, but Martinez closed the show. And against Mackie Macklin, the straight left hand that Martinez has is pretty powerful, and he has an excellent boxing brain, but he does start his fights pretty slowly. But a lot of people recognise him as the better boxer in this fight. How do I see the fight will go? Well, as I said, Julio Casear Chavez isn't anything particularly special. For me, he does throw good body punches. He just keeps coming forward in straight lines and overpowers and outworks opponents, takes them to the ropes, and just lets his hands go. He will have a significant height, reach advantage over Martinez, but then so did Paul Williams. And Martinez found Williams' chin in the second fight. For me, this boils down to a few things. Can Martinez hit and hurt Chavez and make him fight going backwards? If so, then I would say Martinez has a pretty good shot in this fight. If he doesn't, and he can't hurt Chavez, and Chavez keeps coming forward and keeps coming forward, I see Chavez catching Martinez. And Martinez, for all his boxing skill and ability in his dancing, does get into battles, does get drawn into a shootout, and can get tagged, can be hit, can be hurt, and has been dropped. We really don't know how good Chavez is because he hasn't been beaten. And we have a fair idea of how good Martinez is. I'd like to think, in my fantasy way of looking at boxing, is that Martinez and Chavez will meet in the center ring first round and trade blow for blow. If that happens, Chavez wins the fight. I think he's too big, too strong, and for me, how he's campaigning at middleweight, it defies the odds for me. I mean, probably by the time they weigh in, or by the time the fight is, he's going to be around near light heavyweight. So how he's making it down at a middleweight, oh, God knows. So if Martinez decides to go toe to toe with him, there's trouble. If Martinez boxes, you know, I think it will be could be a technical masterclass. Could be. But if Martinez starts the fight slowly, and Chavez is able to bully him and get those body shots off early, and trap Martinez against the ropes, I'll give the fight to Chavez. I'd love to see Chavez, Martinez knock Chavez out. I really would. I think Martinez has done it the hard way to come up. Chavez, for me, has a lot of things in his favour. His father, and the relationship they have with the WBC. And I hear rumours that Richard Steele's going to be refereeing the bout. So who knows what sort of antics Richard Steele may allow Chavez to get away with in this fight. For me, I'm picking Chavez to win this fight. I'm picking Chavez to win this fight by TKO in around rounds 10 and 11. I think Martinez will hit with his best shot. I'm fine that Chavez is able to shake it off and keep coming forward in an absolute war. 37 years old. People talk about his age and say, well, you know, he's older. Martinez is not. Martinez is going to get pressed in this fight. He's going to get pressed in this fight a lot more than I think Macklin's pressed him. He's going to get pressed more in this fight than Barker pressed him. And for me, I can see Chavez overpowering Martinez for a late stoppage in a great fight. But that's just my opinion. Again, I could be completely wrong. If the fight goes to the judges, it's a Chavez win for me. I don't think they're going to give Martinez a fair shout. And if it's politically, how do I put it? If it's the agenda to get rid of Martinez in this fight, and all Chavez has to do is get to points, stay on his feet for 12 rounds, then they'll relieve Martinez of his title, and Chavez will go on. I don't think they would have taken this fight. They don't believe they could have won this fight. And I think timing is everything, and they may have just timed this right with fighting Martinez. Is Martinez in the slide? Is Chavez still a bit green? Is he too predictable coming in straight lines and taking a whole heap of punches? Who knows? That's what makes it so intriguing, this fight. Can Martinez outbox Chavez for 12 rounds? Or not get caught up in a war? But for me, like I said, I'm looking for Chavez to track down Martinez, absorb Martinez's best shot. Martinez finding that no matter what he hits Chavez with, it doesn't have the effect he probably hoped it would. Getting drawn into a fight and getting out hustled. And I don't believe the stories of people saying that Chavez is not dedicating the gym. I just think that's a lot of bull. It's a lot of talk. It's hype. Story is, according to Amir Khan, that Chavez Jr. has a great work ethic. But then who knows if that's true either. But for me, I just think there's a lot of things said in his 24/7 shows. I haven't watched any 24/7 shows for this particular bout, and I said to myself, I'm not going to do it, so I'm not going to get caught up in a hype. Martinez is by far the superior boxer. Don't get me wrong, he's by far the superior boxer. But for this one, I'm going to go with my gut, and my gut says Chavez. So Chavez, between rounds 10 and 11. This is Bayloric Boxing. I'm out.